welcome to another delicious edition of Clayton's Creations. To all my familiar, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come by and see what we got going on here today. To anybody that's new here, if you want to become part of my family, it's easy. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any of the heat that we're dropping over here on my little corner of the internet. Today we got a banger for you guys. Chicken chow mein. And I know it sounds good, guys, but trust me, it's going to be even more delicious when we're done. So with that being said, let's jump right into these ingredients so that we can get started. Sit back, relax, and get comfortable, and let's dive in. All right, guys. I know this looks like a lot, but once you get into it, get all your prep work done, the cook is actually pretty simple. So let's get started with what we have here in front of us, all right? So we have 3 different types of bell pepper: orange, red, and green. We're going to dice those up along with the green onions that we have here. We have a whole head of cabbage. Then we have some minced garlic. Then we have our oil that we're going to use, our pasta, spaghetti noodles. We have, of course, the pièce de résistance, the chicken thighs. Bone, skin, and thighs are more forgiving, guys. So in a cook like this, I would suggest them. Then we have some onion powder, garlic powder, smoked paprika, a little black pepper. Here's our Lowry's and adobo. And then we have sweet soy, regular soy, mirin, and some oyster sauce. And when we get ready to use those, I'll show you when and where and how they apply. All right? So ingredients done. Let's get started. Okay, let's start first with our head of cabbage. And we're going to start by sectioning this off first to make it easier to dice up. So be careful with your knife, guys. Things can go wrong very easily. So we're going to take that. We're going to take the section we cut off. And then we're going to julienne this thing, all right? Again, like I told you before, don't worry about the speed. Just try to keep things consistent because we want things to cook at the same speed. So when we're done with that, we'll set it aside and then we'll work on the pepper. You've seen me clean peppers before, but I'm going to just show you again briefly with this one pepper to show you how to get it ready to then julienne it. For those who are unaware, julienne just means to cut into batons or like matchsticks. So once we're done getting all of the inside of this pepper cleaned out, we'll move on to that step. So here I am julienning our first green bell pepper. And when I'm done with both of those sections, we'll move on to handling our orange bell pepper, as you see here. Once we've handled that, the next pepper up will be the red. And like I said earlier, guys, this is not a difficult cook, but it is a great opportunity to work on your knife skills. If you're shaky with a blade in your hand, this is the time to build up some confidence. So you see me cutting up the green onion, and now we're going to handle the onion. And then when we're done with those, we'll set them to the side, and then we'll deal with our protein. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love an Asian cook. And this one is one of my faves for sure. So here's the protein. So we mentioned before, boneless, skinless short thighs. So we're going to clean any extra fat, any sinew, look for any bone fragments or anything. We're going to clean the chicken up. And we're going to prepare it to be marinated. I'm going to show you how I take care of one. And then, in your mind, just extrapolate that over the other ones. There's no need for you to see me clean a dozen pieces of short thigh. But if that's something you're into, you can go check out my other video on the jerk chicken roster pasta. And yes, it's a shameless plug. But what can you do? All right, so we're going to season this short thigh. We put our oil in. We're going to put all of our seasonings in, and we're going to put the minced garlic in here too, but I don't have video of that, so please, please, please be forgiving. But it's all going to go in here, and it's going to set aside for 30 minutes while we prepare our pan. All right, so we're going to get our pan hot and add some oil, and then we're going to add our short thighs to that. Normally, I would just say cook your chicken in your wok or your heavy bottom pan, but in this case, I'm cooking so much short thigh, I really don't want to burn the bottom of that pan and have to do extra cleaning in the middle of a cook. So we'll cook the protein in a separate pan like you see here. Pressing it firmly down in the pan to make sure we get maximum surface area contact. Because after all, brown meat tastes good. Pause. Okay, anyway. Yeah, like I said, the surface area contact is going to help with that Maillard reaction. It's going to give your chicken a delicious brown exterior. So you're watching the chicken cook here. Once we achieve the sear we want on that side, then we'll go ahead and flip it over. Cook both sides through. Again, we don't do medium rare chicken over here. So make sure your chicken is cooked all the way through. Please. Safety is key. But do you see the delicious look and color on the outside of that chicken? Like, I could just stop the cook right here, guys. We could just have chicken for dinner. But I know that's not what you came here for. So we'll soldier on. So we're going to get those short thighs out. Repeat this same process with our next batch until we have cooked everything through to golden brown delicious and completely done. And when we're done with that, let's move on to our wok. We're going to get some oil in that wok and get it hot. And we're going to start by first putting in our cabbage. You see me dump all that cabbage in like this. This is the whole head chopped up. It's been cleaned, washed and rinsed, and it goes in our hot pan. Okay, guys, don't be shy about getting in with your spoon and giving your wrist a good workout. This, after all, is a stir fry. So stir it around a bit. Agitate your veggies. We don't want anything sticking or burning to the bottom because we are cooking this in a high heat situation. And as always, do not forget to bring those same seasonings back. We're building flavors here, so every level of this dish, we are going to season vigorously. All right? Season it with passion, guys. Remember, it's your taste buds, and they'll thank you for it. So we're going to get it, mix that seasoning in again, work that wrist, pause. All right? Get those veggies mixed up, and when they're cooked down, they're nice and tender, but still have crunch, we'll take them out and we'll move on. Now you see us going in with those onions. We got the same motive here, guys. Agitate those veggies. We're going to stir fry them around. We're going to season them up. And then when they're cooked down to al dente, we will take them out and move on to our next ingredient, which is those vibrant peppers. In go the peppers in the same high heat wok. All three colors in at once. They're going to cook the same time. So there we go. Whip them, whip them, whip them. Then again, like I said, seasoning every layer, guys. Your taste buds will thank you. Get that seasoning set in, mix them up some more. Same goal here, guys. Al dente, we want them toothsome, but we want that seasoning to really get into those peppers. And when we're there, we're going to add in some matchstick carrots. Yes, normally I do all of my own chopping, but carrots weren't on my grocery list. So I had to use what I already had. So here we are. But again, season those as well. Come in with a little bit of soy sauce. And then we're going to whip those up too. Mix them around, agitate them. Don't let anything stick or burn. And when we're there, we're going to leave that here and go handle our protein. All right, you're going to watch me stack up some of this protein. But again, I'm not going to bore you to death with me chopping. We've seen a lot of chopping in this video. Because again, that's basically what this cook is. So I'll just take one of these. Chop it up. You can see what we're going for again. We're going to julienne these too so that they match the cuts that we used in the rest of the cook. So once we sliced all of our protein, we will set that aside and we'll go work on this sauce. All right, so remember we mentioned we have sweet soy, regular soy, mirin, and some oyster sauce. Now the first three I mentioned, the 2 soys and the oyster sauce, are going to be in equal parts. Mirin we're going to put in a couple teaspoons. And then we're going to come in with 1 heaping tablespoon of cornstarch. We're going to mix that well. You're not going to see it mix well here, but when I use it later, you'll see that everything is mixed and incorporated. So we're going to move on from this and go back to the pot with our veggies in it. And then you're going to welcome the return of this delicious cabbage we cooked earlier. We're going to mix that in, just a little bit of sauce. Don't go crazy, guys, because we're going to slowly incorporate that sauce while we mix all of our vegetables. Remember, we're still in a high heat situation, so mix these vegetables while you build. There you go. Like I mentioned before, you see me adding a little sauce. Then we're going to give this a more mix, more mixing, more mixing, building flavors, incorporating everything together. Once we've done that, we can bring in that protein. Here you go, all that delicious chicken. Get it all behind, and any juices that lift in the bottom of the bowl, because no flavor left behind over here. Add everything, incorporate it. It's just going to make that final dish even better. So remember, pour all of those pan juices in there too. Now you see me mixing that up. Mix it well, mix it well. Try not to let anything jump out of the pan like I did right there. But continue mixing till you're satisfied. And then we can move on to adding one of our two final ingredients. We're going to bring in our spaghetti noodles. And yes, guys, you can use other noodles. You can go by the Asian market and buy something, some udon or a noodle that is a little more robust. But I chose to stick with something that is readily available, a spaghetti noodle. It's a good vehicle for this dish. But again, it's up to you guys because you have to eat it. So if you'd like to try something different, feel free to pull an audible and get another noodle. But in come those noodles I just talked about. No, I didn't show you me boiling the noodles, but let's face it, at this point in our life, we all know how to boil noodles. And if we don't, there are instructions on the box to cook them to al dente. In this case, al dente is very important because, again, they're going to come out of the water into some more heat. And we want the most enjoyable eating experience possible. And that includes texture and taste. So remember, al dente noodles go in, they get mixed well with the remainder of that sauce, as you can see me doing right here. And then once we've gotten that mixed to your satisfaction, we're going to come in with our last ingredient that it does add flavor, but it's mostly going to serve as a garnish in this application. It's going to be our green onions. And you'll see me come in with those extra veggies right now. Now, normally I would say this is a little green for health, but there's so many veggies already in this dish that we're just adding green for flavor in this case, all right? So we're going to put those green onions in. We're going to mix them in. I did reserve some because I'm going to use them on the top of the dish. Later, you'll see that. But for right now, let's mix in what we have, get this well incorporated. And I don't know if you can hear that or not, guys, but our plate is coming. We're getting so ready to plate this thing up and dive in. I know the anticipation is high, right? So once we've mixed that in well, there is absolutely nothing left to do but get in there for a little be-real and then fix us up our plate. I'm not even going to lie, guys. I wish you could smell this right now. But oh, you can. Let's make it yourself. So just like that, guys, we got us another delicious banger in the record books. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the recipe for today. I hope you enjoyed the content we're bringing to you over here on this channel. But before I get out of here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see over here. Remember, I'm here for you guys. So before I leave you, I want to leave you with the final words of salute mi familia. Until next time, guys.